Jenny K and Kabelo are joining me in studio, and if you don't know that the third Shout Essay track has dropped by now, you need to crawl out from under that rock and get with the program. Hello, guys.
Hazard, how are you doing?
You've had a very busy day.
It's been busy, and the hard work only starts now, really.
You actually were just talking about that cop on the video, right?
Yes, I was.
Did you see that video?
I did, yes.
What did you think of that?
I thought it was quite funny. I think the guy, the motorist, got put in his place quite nicely because he was quite rude, you know. And I think all of us can get like that. You know, you kind of think, you know, you know, the world revolves around you, and when the guys are just trying to do their jobs. Yeah. And I think she was quite. I like her sarcasm. She was funny.
She was funny. She made me laugh out loud for me. Now, before we start talking about the third track that's dropped this morning, I have to ask you, how is fatherhood going?
Fatherhood's good. My friend here has gone before me, so I get these tips every now and then. Yeah. I think I've had it easier than him because he's kind of, you know, gone ahead of me and told me what to do and what not to do. I think I've spent less money than him. Because
I made all the mistakes.
He made all the mistakes.
I bought all the unnecessary stuff and then said, don't buy that, don't buy that.
What's the best advice you've given Kabelo on fatherhood?
I think I've told him many times, give up on sleep, you know. just surrender to the fact that sleep is a commodity that you're not going to have anymore. Yeah, it's gone. You know, those like teenage sleeps, like waking up at 10, 9 and just you know, taking it out. No, my son's up like 5:36. He wants to get the day going, and there's no excuse. Yeah.
You need to get the day going with him.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's but it, you know, you make peace with it. That's the point.
Now, Smile dropped this morning, and what an epic, funky, fun video. It just really made me want to dance. Where did you get the concept? How did you come up with Smile for the third single?
Well, the song was co-written by Mikasa, so they really came up with the title. You know, they came with the whole concept of Smile, and we entrusted them to do it because we knew, I think we just knew in our hearts that they were the right group that was going to tap into the feeling we wanted to capture with the third song. So our previous campaigns have had a certain feel, and I think they were good for a time, but South Africa 2015, where we're at, where the country's at, we needed an up moment. So Smile, happy. I'm glad you had that reaction to it because that's what we wanted to achieve. Yeah, make you get up, dance, and feel good.
Tell me about making the video. Of course, before it launched, we saw all of those incredible behind-the-scenes photos from the set. It looks like you guys had a blast for those 2 days. What was it like having? Seems like everybody, every single South African personality there with you. Look,
I mean, it's when you get to that stage, it just becomes even more tangible that we're that much closer to having the opportunity to carry on doing the good that we do. So, you know, when you're on set and you see all, you know, the biggest stars in the country show up, it's humbling. And it's a proud moment to say, we're here, but the road ahead is still long. I mean, there's a lot of work that still needs to be done in this country, but instead of getting intimidated by, you know, the size of the task, you know, we're getting stuck in.
Now, 7 years after the conceptualization of Shout Essay. What does it feel like to be sitting here 7 years later? You have your third song.
We can't believe we're still sitting here because after the first one we needed like 2 years to kind of detox and pluck up the courage. Then You're the Voice was such an enormous success. You know, we beat our own download record. We won the biggest selling download in the country that year again. And it was massively stressful and massively rewarding. Now to come back 2 years later, we need like 2 years to. So I can't, but you know, it really is like a surreal moment. And I know every time, you know, an artist releases an album, they'll say this is their best work, or a painter does an exhibition, they say this is my best collection. But this does feel like our proudest moment. I think the song's the best song we've released. Being an original, it's something to feel proud about, and yeah, we hope to I think in 2 years' time we'll start thinking about Shout 4. But right now it's a dirty word. Yeah, we can't even think about it.
Do you feel pressure I guess every 2 years to come out with something bigger and better that's going to have people talking? I mean, eventually.
That's the problem.
What are you
I
going to
think
do?
what we do feel is a big sense of responsibility. To say, you know, you started a movement, and the thing is, you know, I saw a quote not too long ago that says, you know, never give up because you never know who's watching. You know, the fact that we're still here after a while, you know, it could be the catalyst to somebody who's been watching and saying, you know, I actually want to see how far these guys go with this thing. And the fact that we're still around hopefully is inspiring someone out there to say, you know what, I'm also going to get stuck in terms of playing a part in the future of this country. So it's important to us to carry on. For how long will we? I don't know, but you know, we'll just take each day as it comes.
Yeah. Now, of course, the project was started to shine light on crime and violence in South Africa. How have you seen progress on that side of the project over the past 7 years?
So I mean, our fundraising strategy has changed. So at the beginning, all the money from Shout 1 and Shout 2 was used in a variety of different ways to tackle crime fighting and crime prevention. So we did everything from putting Garmin's navigation units in police cars to get police on the scene of crimes quicker, to drug rehabilitation, to criminal rehabilitation, to supporting the Police Widow and Orphans Fund. So we didn't know really where crime began and ends. So, and I think it's a problem that is true to this day. But on Shout 3 and from 2015, we shifted our focus from all of those very good things to a more long-term strategy on how to deal with crime in South Africa, and that's education. Educating the children that are in primary schools now, whose lives can be altered by an education, and a potential future life of crime can be altered through empowering them with an opportunity, a chance at you know, matriculating, getting a job, feeding their family, and education does that for people.
Now, funds raised from all the sales of the song online are going to the library project. Will you tell us a little bit more about the project?
As Danny said, you know, we were looking for something we could sink our teeth in that would bring about what we believe is lasting change. And the library came about through partnering with our ad agency network, BBDO, you know, through creating these awesome structures in primary schools that are really both inspirational and aspirational, you know, really colorful spaces, a kind of space that kids want to get into and be in and glean knowledge from. And like you said, you know, every single cent goes towards, you know, building those libraries in primary schools. We've built 3 already, and we're hoping in the next calendar year to build another 7 or even more.
Depending on how many SMSs we get, how many people buy the track. So the library project really is in the hands of every South African. We say that every SMS is like a brick, you know, and every brick we get, we can build a library. So we're asking South Africans to help us do that. And it's real easy. You just got to SMS, you know. What's easier than that?
Nothing.
SMS SMILE. You SMS SMILE to 40388. SMILE to 40388, or you can find the track on iTunes.
That's awesome, and it's an amazing track, so everybody should have it. Now we have to get wrapped up, but before we go, I want to know what your most memorable moment from the set of the video was. It can be silly, it can be fun.
I think Derek Watts doing a handstand. So I mean, Derek. Most people are petrified of Derek. If he rocks up at your door, you don't want to be the guy who's answering. And we didn't tell him to do it. You know, if you watch the video, you'll see this moment. But he went in front of the camera, and all of a sudden we saw him. He
Doing a handstand.
Actually, it wasn't even a handstand.
On his head.
He was on his head.
A headstand.
A headstand. And then he started clapping with his feet. And I think most people that watch the video, that's one of their favorite moments. But the other one has got to be Casper de Vries impersonating Casper Nieuwest. He does a mean Casper Nieuwest, and it's one of the better moments of the video, for sure.
Did you ask Derek how he learns to do a headstand?
And didn't, but
yoga.
I think we assumed that he obviously must be a yoga freak.
yoga.
Because he
of
was
some
doing
sort.
all these, the crane and this, and he's a tall drink of water. I mean, he's a
Yeah.
big guy. So, like, I mean, you can't believe it when you see it.
I'll look at Derek Watts in a different way from now
Most
on.
people do.
And was there, I don't want to say a worst moment, but like any strange things that happened behind the scenes that we obviously don't see in the final product, but something that you'll remember for the next couple of years to come?
Oh, there was the drama of Jay from Mikasa not potentially being on the video after like miscommunication, let's
Yeah.
call it that, where he was in Cape Town and we thought it was quite clear that they needed to be in Johannesburg, but somehow it got lost in translation.
We nearly had a heart attack, yeah.
And
Shame.
And yeah.
We flew him up.
Well, he got there.
He
Yeah,
got
he
there.
got
It's
there
fine.
And
in
they
the
started
nick of time, And the thing is, he was also involved in something that he really needed to be here for in Cape Town. So I'm glad that everybody was happy at the end of the day.
I'm glad that it all worked
Yeah,
out.
very, very happy. Yeah, because that would have been egg on our face if they weren't in the video, big time.
Guys, thank you very much for coming in.
Cool.
One last time, remind all of our viewers how they can get that track, what they should SMS, and you can do that into that camera.
Okay, so download the new Shout for a Safer South Africa track called Smile 3 ways. SMS the word SMILE to 40388. Go to any musica across the country, buy an old school CD, or download it on iTunes. Easy.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so much.
I was getting you out of here in the nick of time.
She was.
You have 3 minutes.
Shame, man. That's very nice
Thanks,
of you.
guys.
All right.